Let's be honest, we have experienced some kind of toxicity or have been toxic in at least one instance of our life, no matter if it's your workplace or a friend group and even your family members. Now, in modern day, toxicity is a big issue, especially since this guy invented the internet, basically creating infinite spawns for toxic people. Imagine the guy working hard in his lab to invent the internet, thinking about the infinite possibilities it is going to help the humanity. Instead, we get this.
Du Hex, du kleiner verfickter Hurensohn, geh deine Mutter ficken! Du verfickter Hurensohn, ich hab deine Mutter gefickt, du Arschloch,
But it's not like people suddenly started being toxic after the internet came into the picture. But like anger, sadness, and happiness, toxicity is also a trait of human nature. But since the invention of internet, it has been a lot easier to throw
Yo mama.
jokes at random people on the internet. Like everything on the internet, gaming is also loaded with toxicity. But the toxicity in the gaming predates the internet era, as far as back 1918s for couch co-op fighting games, although it is face-to-face, limiting the instances of toxicity. But with the rise of online gaming since 2000, toxicity is an everyday thing for gamers, specifically the PvP ones. So today, my fellow noble nerds, we are going to discuss a little bit about why people are toxic in gaming, or in general you could say, and how to defend ourselves from being victim of it, or worse, being a toxic player itself. Now first let's define what is toxicity. In my opinion, toxicity is something where you have no consideration for other human beings' feeling and what they might be going through. I know in games it could get hot in there, and you could say few words or two, like not the cursing part by the way, like that's totally unacceptable. Or it may even include narcissistic behavior, where the player wants to blame others for their own mistake due to their superiority complex. And if you are going out of the way and bullying other guy for no reason at all, maybe for a single mistake he or she might have made in the game, or else you straight up like being mean to others, I consider that as toxicity. Now, there are two things that is needed for this whole toxic canon event to take place. First, the guy who is toxic, the attacker, the a-hole who just wanted to ruin people's day. And the second one, the guy who just wanted to play his beloved game, get a sigh of breath after his tedious day, only to meet up with this kind of shit, ruining his rest of the day. Now the first, the guy who is being toxic in the game, there are two types of them. The one who just had a bad day or was just frustrated with the game in general. And the second one, the spawn of Satan himself, the guy who is just born evil, like shit straight from Annabella you could say. Now for the guy who just had a bad day,
Stop it. Get some help.
first of all, you just had a bad day, buddy. And you outright jumped into a game which requires a super saiyan level of attention to play it. And with your mind at shit, it is not a good idea to play this game. I know, gaming is our happy place where we go to soothe our mind and heart. But remember, it shouldn't come at other people's expense. Now if you really wanted to play a game, go play some open world games and play some PvE co-op with your friends. Or the best thing I will suggest you to do is just drop the idea of gaming for today and go on a walk, or talk with your family, or in general get some help. Shit talking on a mic for a few hours won't take away your problems. It will only increase them, making the experience sour for you and the unknown guy who you are playing with. Now, if the game you are playing is going bad, or you are just frustrated with the match or the state of the game, remember, it's just a game. At the end of the day, it's just some pixels on the screen. Just finish the match and set the game aside for a few hours. But instead, what I saw a lot of people do is just rant. Now, the end result being, you still lost the match, buddy, with added bonus of bad experience. I know people can make obvious mistakes and play like not so on a bright level, and I know you have grinded for this rank, and losing it even though it wasn't your performance can sometimes feel bad and it may get you angry. I have been at your place. But remember, we all have bad days. who knew what the other guy is going through? And what if there is a child on the receiving end? Think about the kind of impact you might have on a child whilst you are ranted about his gameplay. We have seen enough cases of how a bad environment can affect their mental health. Now returning to the guy who was just frustrated before, instead of all this ranting, maybe you can tell the person what he is doing wrong or how he can improve. This might give you a chance to turn the game around, or at worst, he gets to learn something new and you can move on to your next game without destroying your mentality. Overall, remember, gaming is supposed to be a wholesome place where people connect with each other and have a fun in a healthy, competitive environment. Sure, sometimes it can get hot in there and you might slip a few words or two. But remember to say sorry at the end and shrug it off as a healthy competition. Make your amends with the people who you have been toxic with, and just remember why you started gaming in the first place, which might lead you to knowing that gaming is half fun because of the community around it, and we all should appreciate that. Now on the receiving end also there are two kind of guys. Now the first one who answers brick with brick and just ready to defend himself. And the second one, the silent guy who really doesn't care about the toxicity or amount of yelling the other guy is doing, just want to enjoy his game. Now for the guy who is ready to fight, situation is only gonna worse from here. The toxic player came prepared to spread negativity. That was his mission today. Like he can't effing wait to tick the toxicity checkbox at the end of the day, like he did some amazing kind of job. And in some cases, this might really get the toxic dog in control. Like we have this say in Hindi, जब सीधी उंगली से घी नहीं निकलती तब उंगली टेढ़ी करनी पड़ती है, which means that sometimes you just have to be an a-hole to deal with fun. And it might even work in few cases, but in majority of them you are just starting a great ninja war. Now I know you might just say, like, I am the one who didn't start this. The guy in front of you was just being a a-hole and you just responded to that. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna say, was it worth it? Was it worth the pain, the negativity? A lot of people will say, oh, it's just a word on internet from some random guy. And I want to say, yeah, that's true. But it's not a matter of whether it will affect you or not. Let's suppose you are a tough one and don't give a f about these things. But what if it wasn't you, it was someone else? Let's take our close ones for instance. Would you still stand this toxicity from this guy?
You ain't eat a tree from
The goal for us to make the community clean off his dumpster bags, or best try to change him. But I would say lashing out on the guy is not the best solution. At least I don't approve of it. I was also at same place before. I used to lash on the guy who was being toxic, but most of the times it didn't really end well for me. I was just full of negativity and anger for the next upcoming game. And a lot of the time, or even most of the time, I ended up losing the next game. So overall, remember this, although you are not in wrong here, you are just adding fuel to the flame. If you are kind of guy who doesn't take shit from other, in this situation the best thing you can do is just mute the guy. You might even try reporting if he is in the wrong. Now moving on to the next type of guys who are just chill about this whole toxic situation and don't really care much about this stuff. First of all, salute to you guys. You guys are what keeping this community together, defending it from turning into a dumpster truck. You like the Avenger of gaming heroes. We don't deserve it, but we need you guys. I don't know how you guys keep your calm when the guy keeps spewing literal sewer out of his mouth, just trying to be annoying. But please keep doing this, cause we need you. Be the IGL we need, trying to keep the toxicity in check. I know we are asking too much, but you are needed in here. And please keep doing what you do. Now, the another big issue we have in terms of toxicity is that the current generation, of which some people call as Gen Z, cursing and saying F word is considered cool and badass, and it's not even their fault. They have been in this internet heavy environment. A lot of people do some stupid shit for any form of clout, and which also includes being toxic, and all these fake gurus.
I will not administer CPR unless you're a hot female. This can't be a pussy. Go ahead, a heart attack. Fuck up. What the fuck's wrong?
Promoting straight up toxicity as something masculine isn't really helping, by the way. And in this generation, the clout is like a status symbol and people do anything to get it. And we promote this kind of shit, by the way. by loading them with likes and laughing at it. Now, unless we borderline start defining bad shit as bad and say being a nuisance to others is not cool anymore, the younger generation will keep facing this problem, and we are all responsible for that. And all said, toxicity will be there no matter what we do. It could get little intense, but it will be there for sure. We have seen the toxicity on the biggest stage in the gaming history to our local lobbies. Although you could try to express it in a competitive way, your mama or your sister kind of shit, just keep that out of your mouths. And also I think it's the studio's job who created the particular game to monitor and ban any interline toxicity which attacks one's race, relatives, and outright cursing words you never heard in your life. Or maybe an auto mute feature when the person starts being toxic to others. That could really help. And yeah, that's about this video. I have been through a lot of instances of toxicity in my life. I have been a toxic person at a time in my life itself, and I have seen how it impacted other people. So yeah, that's why I thought of this video. Hope you guys like it. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up or even a subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. See you next video. Peace out.